Things are hotting up here at Flashpoint 2 as it's a battle for Group Championship today. Of course, both of these teams have already made it through to the playoffs, but one more battle remains in the form of that Demo-lition crown. So let's take a quick look at the road ahead. The remaining Demo-lition men will be taking to the stage today, but the two teams have fallen. Of course, they come in the form of Falls and Envy. Dundgren, they aren't out of the competition just yet. We will be seeing them tomorrow in that crucial last chance qualifier.
Exactly. So if you're a fan of Falls or Envy, great news. If you're not, good news, one of them will be out tomorrow. So we'll never see them again. I hope ever in Flashpoint. No, the key thing with that matchup for me is, I even think, even though in terms of form, look, Envy hasn't won a series, so it's hard to get hyped for them. But actually, one of the things about Falls for me is the actual skill level of the players. It's been a bit underwhelming for me this tournament. So if anything, the Envy guys, they already played them in the opener. They still have actually a potential in terms of like they have skilled players in that team. If they turn up that day and they really play some decent Counter-Strike, it could be a competitive match.
And of course, if we want to hear what you guys are saying at home as well, make sure you're tweeting us at Flashpoint on Twitter, at Flashpoint_CS on Instagram as well. We want to hear all your thoughts. And if you guys want to check out any of the content that we have on our YouTube channel as well, make sure to be heading over to youtube.com/Flashpoint, where you can see all of the day's matches if you've missed out on any from the previous days. And of course, some interviews as well from our lovely players. And I believe we have a quote from Yakinda. I managed to speak to him ahead of his matchup here at Flashpoint 2. Absolutely lovely gentleman. And as we found out, Potter, from the player webcams when we were seeing their matchups, he has a dragon on his ceiling. Incredible. It's just perfect branding for him, right?
Gives him those special powers, man, and he's looking like a special player. So if he can get another dragon up in there, that's going to give him some superpowers that I don't even know if any other teams can handle.
Well, of course, we will be seeing him later on today, but let's move on to the match we have at hand. It's going to be big, taking on MIBR. Of course, Duncan, this is a rematch. We saw this happening right at the beginning of the tournament. Big managing to take the win on this. It did go to the 3 maps. I think it's interesting to look back at some of the results as well, because the first and third map, complete blowout for the side of MIBR.
Yeah, that's the problem. This is an example of a series where the fact that the MIBR team wins a map and against the top-ranked team in the world makes you think, oh, this was a close series. It wasn't at all. Like, there was some 2-0s that were far, far closer than this. This is just that the guys from MIBR, one of the most impressive things that they've been able to do in such a short span of time is they play everything in the map pool, and they're willing to rotate their bands around based on the opponent as well. So as a result, like, they were able to get to one of the few weak spots that Big has.
Yeah, exactly. And that's such a good point, right? Because this time around, things should look a little bit different for MIBR, because the last time, what Duncan was alluding to, those blowout matches, that was because MIBR, brand new team, they vetoed out Overpass coming into that series. This time around, things should be different. MIBR, they've learned their lesson. They're going to get rid of either Dust 2 or Mirage, surely, in the first round of vetoes. So that should give them at least a fighting chance either in that first map or in that third map coming into this one.
Yeah, and of course, we'll be finding out exactly what the vetoes are very, very shortly. But let's shift our attention to the guys that we see on our screen. Obviously, Monty was speaking to Citizen earlier on. He sounded pretty confident coming into today. And speaking about Vertigo as well, they want the revenge on that match because it was incredibly close.
Sure, and actually one guy we never talk about is actually the guy who's on the right there, Keto, because I think this matchup, an interesting detail is you can go with the star players as usual, the in-game leaders. I think it's a battle of the entry fraggers, because these are two teams who have pretty decent T-sides, actually. And so when you look at Keto, no one ever talks about him. This is a guy who's going to be fed a steady diet of aggressive entries. He wants beef with that opposing player in that position, you know. He's never, you know, they're just like a piece of meat to him. He's just licking his chops, you know.
Well, hopefully we'll see him licking his lips after this matchup. And I want to shift it over to something that you said, Potter. We were talking about it way back at the EU RMR, DreamHack, you know, Tabson maybe not being on the top form we've seen him in terms of that, you know, big fragging in-game leader. Has he kind of shifted your thoughts coming into Flashpoint 2?
He has. Not just, maybe my own expectations of Tabson has also shifted a bit, just because the whole collective picture of Big just looks so good anyways, that my expectations of Tabson pulling out these incredible rounds that we saw him early 2020, late 2019, I don't think that's what we're going to see from him anymore. He's putting all his resources, all his responsibilities to make the entire team collectively successful. Wow, that was a hard word this morning. But yeah, and I do want to point on to Keto once again, because he's one of those pieces that Tabson is putting and calculating in the right places at the right time. He's also the secondary opera for this big side of things, and not only does Big have Udoh to be the weapon, they've got Xantares, who's not even in the top 10 of the stats leaderboard of this tournament so far, which is so surprising.
Must be due for one then.
Right, he must be due for one. That's exactly my point, is the fact that Big are winning these matches in a landslide with Udoh and Searson just popping off. They haven't even used their best weapon yet in Xantares. He's still in the back pocket of Big, so if he shows up, that's going to be a scary Big.
Well, speaking of these pieces, of course, on the other side of the server, we have MIBR, a fairly new team when it comes to it. We've only seen them at, you know, 2 top-tier competitions. And we were very impressed, as you were saying, Duncan, with the kind of map pool that we're seeing from them. They've played all 7 maps so far, which is kind of crazy when you look at how young this lineup is at the moment.
Yeah, but that's also what impresses me, is because if I feel like if they'd have gone what I feel is like the Gen G route, which is we've got a couple of maps, we're going to put all our effort into them, and if we can get those maps, we've got a chance to win. Promise is a best-of-3 tournament. Like, so actually, I like the approach they've taken, where it's like for every map, they've got a couple of things they can do well. Actually, I'll point out again, another one of the entry fraggers, the Leo Drunky guy. I didn't know this guy at all from before this tournament, before Blast. But it's not like he's one of the best in the world, but he's been doing his job. Like, he's a guy who runs in, he takes the right paths. They look like they have a structured T-side. You have to consider the amount of time they've played together. They're never going to be like a super well-rounded team. Like, for example, that's why Big may well be the hard counter to them. But against every other team so far, they've either looked good or at least competent. So they're a team knowing that they're in the playoffs already. I just want to kind of get a test for what their limit is in this game. And whether they win it or not, I want to see in the playoffs when they're against the lesser competition. I feel like this is a kind of becoming a dark horse for the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's a really exciting narrative about MIBR, as we still have so many questions every time we see them entering the server. And last time, let's touch upon that last match against Forza, because, you know, we were quite split up here on the desk with where that would be going, but it was very impressive from the side of MIBR. They looked pretty convincing during
They did, and so many set pieces, so many executes, especially on that nuke coming out. And I think that's such an impressive factor that we keep harping on, but we got to harp on it more, man. This is a brand new team, brand new squad that got some scraps together, and our expectations were very low coming in. But the way that they're approaching these rounds, the way that they're approaching every opponent that they're coming into, the way that they're doing their vetoes, it's shifting, it's adapting, it's improvising, and it's getting better and better. So for MIBR, as long as the heavy hitters show up in KNG, in TRK, in this newfound VSM superstar, they've got a shot all the way through.
Well, you touched upon the vetoes there, and we can get into them. There are a lot of questions coming into this. Of course, we have seen this match playing out earlier on in the tournament. How different do you think the veto is going to be this time, guys?
Well, the key thing is, as I think Potter just alluded to, basically all they need to do on MIBR is pick which map they want to avoid. Probably something like Dust 2, if you've seen the way it's gone thus far. It doesn't look like a map that suits them that well. I actually think this is a bizarre scenario where the much better team has an overlap that means that basically the series almost has to give MIBR a chance.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, Big are in a situation that every upper dog team wants to be in. They can just go ahead and veto out their perma veto in trade. Now, MIBR, they've got a lot of decisions to make here. Do they veto? Okay, so they're going to veto out that Mirage, so this should be an auto Dust 2 pick coming out for Big. Now, MIBR's picks, this is where things get tricky. They've got either Nuke, Vertigo, or Inferno that they can lean into. I don't think it's going to be the Inferno. It should come down to that Nuke or Vertigo. They won Vertigo last time, but if one thing we know about Big, it's that their experience should allow them
to
watch
those demos,
exactly.
for sure.
So maybe MIBR, they might want to lean into that Nuke coming into this series.
I think they looked pretty competent on Nuke against Forza, right? Yeah, in that particular game, I thought they looked like they had a pretty solid T side again. They had some struggles on the CT side, but I think it's a great pick to go with all in all. It's also one where, because Big generally has sort of cooled off a little bit recently, this is also a map where they haven't looked as hot. You know, I know strategically you'd think this should fit all their strengths, but that's one of the weird things about this side. Like, sometimes they can be fantastic on Dust 2, so I'm actually wondering, because if I'm the guys from Big, I might just go straight into this Dust 2 and just say, listen, you think you've got your map pick that you're going to win? Well, you didn't even pick Vertigo anyway, so I'll just take my Dust 2. So actually, this is where it gets tough now, because I feel like it's almost certainly the Vertigo veto when it comes to Big now. So MIBR, based on what we've seen so far, probably want Inferno. It feels like the one you want, right?
I think the third map should be that Inferno. They're getting rid of that overpass.
They're challenging them basically to play Vertigo here.
Oh, well, Big will get rid of it. Big will want to land. Oh,
Now, this is what I mean. Big basically must have watched it. That tells you we were watching your demos. And you know what? If you're not going to pick it, we'll take it in that scenario then. So if we get to that third map, certainly not a guarantee, that's going to be very spicy. I mean, listen, they're both in the playoffs anyway, but definitely Big want to beat them twice. And if they can beat them on Vertigo, how much sweeter could it get?
Yeah, Citizen did say in that interview he did want that revenge over MIBR on Vertigo, because that was the only map that MIBR, you know, even managed to make a dent in the side of Big. And even then, it wasn't that clean. It was incredibly close. And I believe Yuumi has a moment from that matchup that he wants to be breaking down on the Telestrator.
So ahead of Big MIBR, I decided to look at Vertigo as a potential map that they'll pick into, and it's one that MIBR have been comfortable with. And I'm actually looking at how exploitable the MIBR side are on the CT side, given that they may have had limited amount of time to prepare. You can see they go and fight individually. In this round, Leo Dark or Drunky actually gets picked off very early into the round, and this is something that follows into the follow-up round as well. As we get into round number 7, the same sort of issues start to arise, where MIBR instead are just peaking individually. You can see KNG posted with the AWP, and while he'll wait there initially for a long style peak, Searson actually jumps into and picks him off. This because Xantares wasn't spotted on the low ground. Leo Drunker gets caught on the rotation, things start to really fall out of MIBR's hands, and the fact that they're not really familiar with these timings, or potentially the ability for Big to be in these positions, is a bit of a concern that MIBR will likely have tried to iron out in the past couple of days. We have one more round that we can look at where this happens in the exact same half, the same game, and you can see that they're consistently going for this pop flash that lands up in this sort of area so they can prevent rushes, but Big are instead just peeking above the A ramp smoke where they're finding consistent picks, and it's something that could be exploited when Big get on that T side. We'll have to see, but back over to the desk for now.
Thank you very much, Yuumi. Of course, it will be in the map pool for this first best of 3 series, but we may not be getting to it. We will be starting off with Nuke. I'm wondering what your thoughts are, guys, coming into this first map. Is there anybody key that we should be focusing on?
Oh, like I said, I think this is where the entry fraggers do everything. Like, this is a map where there's no easy entries on this one. You need all your utility. You've got to be very smart. This is also one of the reasons why you feel like it should be a great big map. Like, they're a team that have flexed in a utility basically the last 2 years. So
exactly.
I'm impressed that MIBR's even become competent on this one so quickly.
They must have seen some win condition. You know, Big. They are a fantastic Nuke team, but as of late in the last couple of weeks, they've been losing it out, and actually by quite a landslide of a scoreline. It is surprising, though, as you say, Duncan, because Big are so practiced in their crossfire, so practiced in just the utility that they use. So the way that MIBR are approaching Nuke right now, it's all down to timings, and it's all down to those set pieces, those upper flashes and Molotovs that they have down. It just funnels the defenders in the perfect areas that they want, that they feel comfortable on, and they've got the routing down, they've got the pathing down, they know exactly where the defenders are going to be. But coming into this one, as I mentioned, Big's crossfires, it's going to be top notch. So MIBR's got to have their timings down, which it's been getting better and better as we've seen them on Nuke.
A lot to be getting excited about coming into this first map of this series, but we also have got to get excited about our Pinnacle points predictions. Let's take a look at how our leaderboard currently stands. Alan up there in that first place. Thorin, third place. You got to be pretty happy with that.
I'm sort of like, it's like NASCAR. I'm just drafting behind them at the moment. I'm waiting to overtake in the final section. You don't want to be just leading at the beginning. You want to lead at the end when you win. I do like Bardolph's, though. That's actually ridiculous.
Yeah,
everyone else is positive, and he's just mega negative.
I don't even know what happened. What happened there? I mean, I guess we'll be able to get his thoughts.
He's going to do that thing where now he's doing the opposite of me. He's like, it's better to be leading in the first one than be rubbish at the end and pretend it was all just a joke. Pure banter. Ha ha ha. It's probably like that, I reckon.
Well, me and Potter, we've got a bit of a rivalry going on down here.
It's pretty tight around here, isn't it? There's a lot of people could be overtaken here.
But I think the logic is, as long as you're not dead last, you're fine, right? Because you don't get a reward for coming first.
Coasting.
You just get a forfeit.
Yep, exactly. Sometimes you just got to coast by.
Survival. That's all that matters.
Well, with that, we should take a look at our updated odds. Oh, actually, the odds that we were betting on last night for this very matchup. Let's take a look at those down at the bottom. 1.35 to the side of Big, 3.264 MIBR. You were saying, Duncan, you feel like it should be, a lot more for MIBR.
I certainly think so. I have to say, after the map veto, I think even more. Like, now I think Big has a real chance on MIBR's map. I actually thought if they went back into the Vertigo, maybe they find something there. So I personally would have thought this would be like 5-1 or something. I know people have been impressed with MIBR, and I'm sure plenty of loyal fans are betting betting on them, especially since they've got the underdog merit in that sense. They've certainly been a good underdog, but I think Big is far and away one of the best teams in this tournament.
Well, let's take a look and see exactly what we've been predicting for this one. I believe we can bring our predictions up here on the desk. I would be very surprised if we do see anybody going with MIBR. Most people, well, everybody going with Big on this. A bit of a variation in the points, though. I'm going with 600 here. Of course, these will be the gentlemen that we won't see during this matchup, but we can bring in our wonderful casters that will be guiding us through this one. It's James and Maui. Thank you so much, Maui, for joining us over on the caster desk. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. This is actually shaping up to be a pretty good match. I'm surprised that it went to Vertigo for the decider, actually. I did not think Big would let that all the way through, so I think Big's going to be coming out in full force today.
It's going to be exciting. James, do you want to defend yourself, maybe, for that leaderboard? Do you want to give some logic behind the madness?
I won't lie. My score's kind of giving me asthma attacks. Got my pump ready. You know, if it starts going down even more, I'm going to be in trouble. Can I say, though, I appreciate how Potter, her nail polish matches her cardigan.
Oh, really?
Which offers great contrast with the burgundy as well.
Calculated.
I appreciate that. That gives me life.
That's only something you would notice, James.
Thank you for that.
Isn't it? I love that coordination.
Gotta have attention to detail, right?
Let's have a look and see how much you guys are betting. So 250 for you on Big, James. Does that mean that you've gone big on the other matchup today?
The other odds for the favourite were better. So I thought it makes more sense to try and, you know, get some self-respect in the second game and just put a small bit on this one.
But
So
your logic has kind of failed you, right? We were talking about this on the blind spot yesterday. The logic for you was if you bet on just one underdog and they win, then you don't get to do the forfeit. It hasn't worked out.
Well, all this grilling's going on. It's like that Alexi B interview back in the day.
The idea was, let's just have a laugh on the first day and just go nuts and see if we could just win the thing on the first day. It was admittedly probably the worst bet that was possible to make, probably for the entire tournament.
Yeah.
But someone had to make it, right?
Did someone?
Contractually, he's obliged to, yeah. Put that in there, you know, someone has to do it.
Well, everybody across the board going with Big. As you guys were kind of saying, with that map Vita coming into it, do you think that it's going to be taken in two? Do you even think we're going to be seeing Vertigo coming out?
Here's the bad news. I do think it's going to be 2-0. I hope it can be a great game on Nuke, though. My problem is this. The fact that Big picked into Vertigo as the decider, and Yumi was showing there, they even had some stuff in the game they lost on it. I also will add in, he said he thought MIBR will have ironed the Kinks out. Logically, they won't, because they would never think that map will be picked. They know they're picking Nuke, so you will never think, if you look at the map win rate of Big on Vertigo, they're picking Vertigo as the last map. So I actually think if it gets to a third map, Big might have caught the MIBR guys with their pants down.
Well, they might have indeed. I think with that, we can go into map number 1. It's going to be Nuke, and of course, it's Maui guiding us through it with the wonderful James Bardoff.
Thank you very much. Just looking in the warm-up, Xantares is M4. What is it called, Maui?
It's the Glory Howl.
Yeah, not bad. Not too shabby. The guy thought about his name tags. I respect that. I feel like MIBR I think they're going to be hungrier for a victory here.
They want all the smoke.
Yeah, which is maybe to their, well, that's going to be to their advantage to some degree. And maybe the veto, allowing Verb to go through, is like an experiment for Big to see, all right, let's kind of test ourselves against one of the teams who are putting up numbers. I mean, they beat MIBR on its 16-13. Or did they lose? Actually, I have it right in front of me.
Big
It was 16-13, yeah. So it was 16-13 on Vertigo. So it's a good chance for them to get some more experience and just harvest more information should it go that far. But will it? Are you calling a 2-0, Alex? I'm
going to give it to Big, yeah. I think that Big is showing in this veto process that they aren't afraid of MIBR, even on MIBR's supposedly home maps. I mean, it's still a young roster. We don't know exactly how deep their map pool goes just yet, but they have been selecting Vertigo or Nuke every single time. And Big, they could have avoided that with an Inferno Decider if they so wanted, but they actually chose to take it to Vertigo on map 3. But will we get there? I doubt it.
Now I think about it, of course, Xantares has been learning English and maybe some German as well to communicate on these teams. But if he's named his howl Glory Howl, I'm wondering where he's going to learn this English.
Some dirty message boards.
Doesn't sound like it's Duolingo, does it?
Yeah, they're not teaching that over there, but we're going to start things off with a little bit of an outside play. This is actually pretty quick from MIBR. Udoh will be there to meet them, and he's already finding a couple nice shots. Will be taken down, though. 2-for-2 trade.
3-on-3 now. Things slow down quickly. Massive range advantage for Big, however. Just Glocks on the remaining MIBR players. KiNK looking for a flank. Sisson's moving forward as well. Meeting of the minds, perhaps, but KiNK's crosser goes beyond the angle that Sisson standing. That's some important real estate for Big. Xantares with a nice pop. It's come into this one warm, it looks like. On the scoreboard already.
Just VSM now. 1v3 situation. He does find the Gush onto Surson there. That's a nice shot to hit, but he still has a lot of ground to make up. Tizian is here to meet them with the dualies, and he will find the shot. So Big, with a nice breakdown in that mid-round situation, they're able to find every single kill and come out unscathed. And the dualies doing just a little bit of work there.
I feel like they've almost been a standard. A pair of dualies on the CT side in almost, well, many of the pistol rounds I've seen of late. Again, in those potential rush positions. Fast fire rate from Big. 3 MP9s out on the CT side. Very good weapon. Desert Eagles for the most of MIBR. Again, looking at the sniper of MIBR, they've gone for the force buy, and KNG will be spending all his money as well. And down he goes. That'll be expensive. Searson exposed to multiple directions. I don't think Big are too concerned with that. They got the information, and Keto looking to stamp his authority on the round and just tell MIBR that we are going to be aggressive on our CT side.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see from Big. I bet they were a little bit surprised by the head armor on all of the MIBR players, but nonetheless, they do find the frags. But oh, Leo dunks Keto there, and he brings it to a 2v3 situation, but the HP is still so low, and the positions are known by the Big side. So this is going to be MIBR hoping that Big make a mistake at this point.
Do you think it's map dependent, the sniper of a T side force buying in the second round? Or team dependent in general?
I'll say for Big's sake, Surson is kind of famous for having more kills with the MAC-10 than he does with any other standard rifle. So I think it goes into the game plan for a lot of teams, how they want to use that player, whether he will upgrade or if they really just think it's more valuable for him to buy the MP9 in this case.
No, the T side. The T side.
Oh, the T side.
T's lose a pistol. Because we saw a bunch of teams yesterday, the sniper would have, he would be ecoing. He'd be like dropped a scout or something. So when the buy round comes, no matter what happens, the T side have the AWP on them.
Yeah.
But on this occasion, we've seen the force buy. 13 seconds for TRK to die, essentially. And he'll do that.
Yeah, I'll say it's map dependent. I think certain maps you definitely want to get out that op on the first T side round, but others you're a little bit, you're more okay with it. I'd say like Overpass, for example, you do like to get that off, especially if you're going to try to take some A control.
Yep.
Nuke, though, you can live with some rifles, especially when you're going for ramp or inner hits.
Moving to round number 3, we have some Deagles picked up. No utility, though. MIBR simply looking for some headshots in this round. Maybe not the easiest map to swing with a flashbang on the T side. Nuke.
All right. Surson taking down Lucas there. And that is the majority of the firepower for MIBR in this round. If they get anything done here, it would be nice. But Big playing a safe game.
Just patiently waiting. As are MIBR. Again, just looking for a headshot. Well, on the receiving end of that one, VSM somehow still alive. MP9 not quite doing the job from that distance. TRK's up there as well. Looking at the kills for MIBR, we've got 4 kills so far. So there's a good chance for Big to start off not too shabby in the cash department. Don't want to lose anybody in this round. Just patiently wait. TRK's got a range advantage versus that SMG. If he can land the headshot. Ooh, not quite.
Close. Close, but no cigar. All right, first gun round coming up here, but Big are going to be playing with a bonus round here. A couple of SMGs still in tow, along with Tabson. Oh, actually, Surson, he just goes for the straight upgrade on the op there. That's interesting, as VSM will try to meet him with his own scope weapon in the Krieg.
I imagine he's going to be going up top. Some parkour coming from VSM. Break some windows early as well. Looks like the wall of smokes will be deployed. So again, if you saw that first game from MIBR on Nuke, they were missing the smokes. However, that has been corrected. They played Nuke again since then. Watched the demo. Lineups have been corrected. But yeah, we've seen a resurgence, a light resurgence of the Krieg, just to try and close down the rage and pop some tomatoes. Another successful smoke execution from MIBR. Could see Tabson now on the low ground. Big have to be concerned that. Maybe, oh, that's a great flashbang. Never mind. Tabson not going to go back to the well. Just try and delay. Minute 10, 5 versus 4. No need to overextend. Maybe here's them coming. Fight or flight, down he goes. That is some real estate for MIBR to work with.
Yeah, they got control of these lower halls. Xantarez, he's going to meet them, though. Going for the spray down. Will actually get 2 there. Looking for the 3rd, but VSM does find the trade. Still, man advantage for Big in the 3v2. Lucas on this lurk outside needs to try to help VSM out. VSM, he's on an island right now, and he will be taken out before Lucas can get involved here. Now, Tizian's already holding this angle, and oh, just rips his head off with that MP9. So swift with that fire rate, and Big are up 4-0.
The triple dink. Painful to be on the receiving end of. Such a simple response from Tabson. No one ready for anti-flash. Xantarez, absolute robot. Almost heading towards that 3rd kill as well.
Yeah, that was really impressive from Xantarez. If he falls right there, that could easily have been MIBR's round. And oh, look at that. Xantarez actually letting out a laugh. I wonder if he thought he was going to hit that spray, but if anybody does, it would be him. Now, Keto looking for some damage here through the smoke, but MIBR will play back and wait.
Desert Eagles again. There's a HE grenade for VSM. Maybe we use it to blow some doors off or something. Who knows? Maximum loss bonus now for MIBR, so their ecos become more dangerous, more Kevlar, more Deagles.
Oh, they're trying to set up the window break play. I think the glass break.
Oh, there we go, swinging into the B bomb site. Xantarez, can he get a transfer on this occasion? Manages to isolate the fight, but Lucas will trade and take Searson out as well. 2 versus 2, 1 rifle, 2 rifles collected by MIBR now. This could be an unlikely first round for them. KNG has dropped the bomb though. That will significantly change things. Lucas has a lot of walking to do.
Yeah, that was a big explosion towards the lower bomb side of B, but it looks like it was supposed to be a ruse as MIBR were trying to take the bomb towards A. Now Lucas again on these outside lurks. We'll try to just find anything here. Might just opt to save the M4, as he does have some money in the bank, so he can buy util even if he doesn't receive any loss bonus here. But we'll see what he can find with 20 seconds left. Oh. Tabson holding the angle. This is just such a strong crossfire from Big, but he might have found the timing, but oh, he pre-fires that close vent, and Tabson is able to swing and take him out.
Well, it's a fantastic start for Big. Not too many kills since the first buy round for MIBR. No bomb plants just yet. Very limited success. But again, they got maximum loss bonus, so we will see KNG with the AWP. No Kevlar upon his person. Keto's picked up an AUG, and VSM's on a Krieg once again. He is deady on that Krieg. KNG looking for a misplay now. Look at that peek. Did you see that? That was outrageous.
That was such a good little movement trick by Tabson there. Getting the info nicely. And KNG, because of that, isn't able to hit the shot, it looks like.
That was a sick peek.
Yeah. Lucas really trying to find an entry onto the site, but he will be mollied off the angle. Good utility usage coming out from Big to stem the flow of MIBR players. And this is just so awkward for MIBR as they're trying to make it out of that hut. This util is just so good.
See Lucas trying to spray behind the box. Common position for a CT to stand, but they haven't really been given much of anything. They've done 11 damage in this round thus far, MIBR. They have 1 flash, 2 flashes, sorry, and a molly and smoke. That's the main utility remaining. Flashbang is avoided. Xantarez just happy for the multi-frag. A little 360 as he falls down. Got to set up with Searson, who gets a nice flick, able to fall back as well. Headshot through the wall, only good for about 20 damage, however. Now there's a man advantage for MIBR. Still needs to get on the bomb site, though. You can see Searson in shotgun mode. Just looking for any pushes through that smoke, but which bomb site will MIBR head to?
Oh, Tizian taking the initiative there to find some info. He takes down VSM and MIBR. They were actually gearing up for an upper A hit here. It looks like it will just be the door and hut pop to close out the round. So this is really up to Tizian. He's made it to the top of hut. He spotted the leg, but oh, KNG finds the shot. And now Searson quick on the flank through radio. Xantares will be right behind him, but it's a 2v3 situation, and MIBR should be planting this bomb any second now. There it is. Now Lucas first to face, but Surson with a quick scope takes down Lucas, looking for more. But they'll still try to break the situation down. Now Xantares, he's aware of the position of KiNK, but with the jump peek, KiNK does find the kill, and Surson at this point, he might just have to save, but oh, he's going back to the well. He's going to try to find something. KiNK's already locked in on the angle. Oh, the jiggle comes out, but KiNK is able to recover in time. First round on the board for MIBR. Nice multi-frag, 4K actually from KiNK.
Oh, they were in a straight line towards the end there, but the antics from KiNK to make that round winnable from MIBR was utterly absurd. That was such a good peak. Honestly, that's something people should learn to think about at home. But KiNK's frags in this round, utterly ridiculous.
The jump peek into the angle.
I know, it's bananas, isn't it?
You don't see that very often, but great
stuff. It's a wild round. But the impact, the potential impact of that round could be colossal. There will be another AWP for Searson, but I think their buy will be a little weaker than what it might have been if he saved that sniper. But we shall see. So even though, again, that's not a round you could necessarily count on replicating if you're MIBR, it may have done enough to make life easier for them moving forward. Easier said than done, though. It's a distinct lack of utility on some of these players for Big. We see the FAMAS on Xantares. It's going to be harder for him to get the transfer with that thing. And Tizian on the MP9. So we'll see if Big make an aggressive play here.
They do have a double op.
Yeah, or just rely on the double ops, yeah.
Yeah, so tabseN picking that weapon up along with Surson here. We'll see where he goes with this, and he looks like he wants to find an early ramp pick. Oh, actually, it's going to be down... okay. Just going to post on the angle. Not too aggressive, nothing too crazy, not playing outside of himself, just locking that spot down. And Surson trying to take a duel towards this door area. He knows that KiNK worked this position last time, but oh, a little bit of a door pop coming out, and MIBR, they just fall off right there. Just find that opening pick, and now can regroup, reset the situation in this 5v4 advantage. Oh, 4v4, as Xantares finds a trade.
Yeah, creeping outside by C.R.A.E. And again, there are 2 AWPs on deck, so MIBR have to be very careful. Oh my god. No respect for the air conditioning. That leaves 3. Leo Drunky's in a good spot, but tabseN's creeping. There's no grenade for him. It's simply a swing. He's able to get another 1v1. Misses a shot, though. 2 downhill. They have all the information, Big. Now, what do MIBR do if they're trying to catch Xantares outside of the AWP? But the answer is no. They know TRK was in the same place, so his options are limited. When you know where all the final players are, it means the CT side can take very aggressive positions elsewhere. So TRK is in a lot of trouble here. It's got 44 seconds to just wait for Big to spread out a bit more, to have concern over both sides, which maybe weakens the A-bomb site here, if that's his play.
Bigger playing this really smart, though. They're locking onto his angle, and no one's actually rotated down to that lower B bomb site just yet, because if he does get down there, if he does plant, they can just retake 3v1. So it's a very safe option. And Surson, he hasn't left that angle. He's been posted on that for 20 seconds straight, and he is rewarded for his patience there.
6-1. Big are back. The 2 AWPs survive. AK-47 for Keto, not too shabby either. See what MIBR choose to do. For the most part, they've got $3,000, but some have a little more, and it looks like we're in force buy territory for them. Again, another opportunity to break. Those double AWPs coming in handy. MP9 back out once again for Tizian. Got more utility than last time. So we'll see how comfortable Big are. Oh, just a double AKs and a bunch of Deagles now for MIBR. Strength in numbers. Someone's going to have to take a bullet for the president.
Oh, MIBR, they might be faking Surson out there, but
oh my days.
Just barely sees the elbow, and he peeks for more, takes down KiNK. Already one of the rifles gone. Oh, Surson! It's a shooting gallery for him as he finds a 4th kill for Surson, in fact, and he is just obliterating this outside hit from MIBR.
Shut it down. Shut it down. Well, that was a tough one for MIBR. They achieved nothing in that round. They find themselves in eco territory. A difficult first half of Nuke here on the T side for MIBR. 1 round from 7. A very unlikely round as well. Had opportunities to break, but they've been missed. And now in this eco situation, there's a chance for Big to try and pad the money for the last 5 rounds again. Really was skeet shooting for Searson.
Yeah, that was he made that look super easy. I'm surprised that MIBR never really keyed in on his angle, but they just had a hit in mind. They wanted to roll with it. And right now, I think that question you asked when MIBR did achieve their singular round was, is it replicable? And I don't think they had a true answer for that, as KNG, all 4 of his kills were in that singular round.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult road at present. Very difficult road, unpaved. Desert Eagles once again. So all these eco rounds are pretty much Deagles, no flashbangs. There was a smoke on this occasion. That may draw Searson's attention as Mini is smoked off. 3 have passed already. They may all pass without being seen. They will be heard, however. You can see Xantares making his way downstairs. He has an AK-47. Wouldn't want to be MIBR today, that's for sure. His footsteps have probably been heard as well, however. MIBR taking control of control. Reinforcements will be required, and Tabson's come to help.
Oh, that is such... Oh, big entries from the Deagles from MIBR there out of nowhere, opening up this B site. Another Deagle shot from VSM. Free this man as he is just breaking open that B bomb site. Now Tizian in the 1v5, and what a round for MIBR to just steal away there. Xantares looked like he had a great angle, but the shots were just too good from the Brazilian side.
Who needs flashbangs when you got the Deagles? Another unlikely round from MIBR, but again, maybe at the right time. Becomes expensive for Big once more. Xantares with $1,500 before the round conclusion. So there will be problems. Oh, it's a sound cue from upstairs. That flashbang hit someone. He knows that, Tizian. And everything will be lost. Well, Searson's got 6K, so it will be a dangerous round. Actually, they might be light on grenades, but they'll have guns, Big. But that's 2 rounds on the board from MIBR. How many rounds do you think is the minimum here for MIBR on this half?
I think they're really going for 6 here, at least. At least 6. This is their pick, so they should have a great CT side. I've actually seen them play the CT side a handful of times now, and it is solid, but 6 is definitely a mark you want to hit if you are MIBR.
Okay, well, this is another key round where there's nothing left if MIBR can break on this occasion. 3rd crack at the whip. KNG very quickly outside. There is a gap in the smoke, though. As you can see on the radar, 2 smokes around the garage. And 2 MIBR players have been lost. There's some aggression towards the A bomb site. We've got smokes all over the shop. VSM now can suddenly see. They know one's in Mini. Down goes VSM. Then it was just Lucas, 1 versus 4. This may not go the way they wanted it to once again. All kinds of junk being thrown his way. Surely the spray's coming as well. He sees absolutely nothing. And there he goes.
It just looked like MIBR could never get out at one point. Big's utility at Hut and the door have just been so rock solid. MIBR kind of fooled them once at that position, but was not the case here. And Keto just working around the silo to perfection, as we see they're just locking it all down, and great spam coming out. It feels like these rounds, Big are just in the right places and they know what's coming their way. It looks like they've really done their prep here. And MIBR, when they don't have full utility, it looks like they're having a very difficult time gaining ground, because Big, they're so aggressive individually on the CT side. They're so willing to take that little peek because they trust their players, they trust their own aim in those situations.
MIBR 5 more seconds to think about the way forward to a 3rd round. 2 AK-47s in the hands of Keto and Xantares is not a good sign for MIBR. Doors being blown off. Will there be a quick peek from a sniper, maybe? Oh, KNG towards the ramp. Leo forcing Big to dump utility around Squeaky with that blown off door. TRK breaking the glass suggests a potential execute into this A bomb site. Got to be real careful. Tizian just showing a little alarm. Gets away unscathed.
Still, just MIBR setting up in lobby right now, looking like they're just trying to burn some time, as Big burned so much utility, and actually they're going to be headed towards ramp, so Xantares will be the man to challenge him. We've seen him multi-frag from this position before. What can he find this time around? Great off angle. He gets one, gets the second, a third! Looking for the 4th, but TRK does manage to find the trade. But still, such a massive hold from the Turkish Terror at that ramp position.
And MIBR have to read that surely someone else was there. They did have the molly up. C.R.A.E was playing outside hell for this round, so he wasn't too far away, but the molly kept him away. So having rescued the bomb, MIBR have a slight chance in this round. 2 versus 4. 35 seconds. Trying to entry. There they go down the vent. Creeping. Trying to stop any potential crossfire now. Kito's got a disgusting angle though. Surely VSM can't make this one. Well, he's dodged the first bullet, can't dodge the rest of them. Tizian will help as well. And it's 9 rounds for Big, 4 players surviving. MIBR still with 2.
That's just what happens when Xantares gets an AK on the CT side. That is just unreal. So clean. Every shot just has
He doesn't even need crosshair correction. No. Walking into his crosshair.
Just perfect crosshair placement. For a guy with such snappy aim, it's nice to see him kind of make it look easy at times too.
Is that a bowl of strawberries? It's pretty nice.
Might just be.
Yeah, nice healthy food. I approve this. 2 AK-47s for MIBR in round number 12. And the Deagles are out once again. Plenty of smoke grenades and Molotovs, one of which is just deployed in front of your eyes. Lack of flashbangs as well. Didn't need it for the second round. But again, the rounds they've won have been anomalies, if you will. Maybe this one will be as well.
It really feels like the skill is just so high on the Big side right now. Surson and Xantares are in such excellent form, and no one from Big is really doing all that badly. Keto, he's still having a very serviceable 5 kills here, and honestly, it just doesn't feel like MIBR has really come in his way as much. He's not getting in on the action. Tabson with the duel outside.
Oh my god.
What a clean shot from KiNK.
Down.
That's some IGL on IGL violence for you. And KiNK, he's looking for more. Tries to sneak into the smoke, but a great flash assist from Surson sets up Keto beautifully, but he can't continue the spray. And actually, MIBR recover the situation with a man advantage.
Okay, warning shots for Lucas. Even though Keto died there, the fact he moves back away from the smoke so he could have better vision was quite smart. A fast play into the A-bomb site now. TRK with a quick swing. Tizian at the back, ready for the left and the right. Looking for the 3rd kill, but Leo will stay alive for now. C.R.A.E, of course, there to trade on the high ground and keep MIBR on 2.
What a great recovery from Big. Tizian, excellent work behind the silo there. Multi-fragging makes it look so good. And when Tizian is doing well, that's when you know you're in for some trouble if you're MIBR. Tizian usually definitely a good player. Don't get me wrong, but if he's lighting you up, it's going to be trouble.
Yeah, you can see Leo move back away from the smoke again. If you're closer to the smoke, your opponent is generally going to have slightly better vision of you or see you first, so both moving away to get a better angle on things. Leo can't get a good angle on C.R.A.E, though, who continues with this AWP. Been running hot from the start here. 18 for 5 is C.R.A.E. KiNK rotating elsewhere. We'll see if Lucas looks to commit to the A-bomb site as Bigger finally falling around the map. KiNK still in that anti-eco position. Catches Xantares, goes from bad to worse for Big. Maybe finally MIBR will make it to 3 rounds.
Big are priming themselves for the retake here. They throw the entry smoke. Tabson, he does throw some utility. I think he's kind of feigning. He's falling here, and oh, what is this from Surson? Getting so close, taking down VSM. Oh, can't find the kill onto the bomb site, though. TRK does stop him. And Tabson, at this point, he has to make a decision. Does he actually favor his chances? Looks like the answer to that question is a no. 45 HP. Love to find some damage here, but it looks like MIBR will be avoiding him as they exit through lobby back to T-spawn. So MIBR, they get a 3rd round on the board. And the money for Big is in a precarious position. Surson will be able to afford an op, but I'm curious as to whether they buy or save for later.
The entries from MIBR on the A-bomb site. Brute force there. C.R.A.E, he was so close. We saw the scope, we saw the right mouse, not the left mouse though. Very close indeed. Big are going to go for it. C.R.A.E will drop a, I think he dropped an M4. And he's got money for an AWP as well. 2 rounds to fight for. And Big will look to take both. MIBR really need both. 10 rounds, not too shabby on the CT side thus far for Big. But they could do even better. The MP7 coming out for Tizian, that's interesting. Normally people opt for the faster fire rate of the MP9 versus the more expensive MP7. Bit of a unicorn these days.
I appreciate it, though.
I quite like it.
Yeah, I think it's actually a solid weapon. Fire rate is nice, of course, from the MP9, but Tizian favoring his chances with the MP7. Maybe he likes the spray pattern a little more.
Better armor penetration, I believe. Slower fire rate. He'll be up top of the hut. Oh god, Citizen's down. That's a huge frag as the flashbangs go towards CT vent and they charge into the site. Again, the numbers game working great for MIBR. Some area control from the Molotov for now, but Kito's got to get multi-frags. That's a good start. No one covering the bomb plot now. This is collapsing!
What? Kito with 3, making this possible for Tabson all of a sudden. 2v1 situation. They do smoke him off the angle, but they have to plant this bomb, and KNG, he has an op. This is one of the most difficult weapons to try to guard all of these angles, but he does have a feeling that Tabson is there, and it's a great read from KNG to close that one out.
Big B broke now. MIBR have made it to 4. We were looking for 6. 5 is the best they could do, and there's a fair chance of it now. This almost completely collapsed, and you wonder about the comms as well. With 2 players at Squeaky, the reaction was very late. Stressful round for MIBR, but they will be successful. So we've got a scout and a FAMAS for Big with a bunch of pistols in this last round. They are monsters of utility, though, and they are heavy with that at the very least, all things considered. But look how fast MIBR go outside. They know there's weakness, and KNG is here to catch Tabson in no man's land. Xantara's up close with a Deagle, insta-traded by a 3-man push from MIBR. Maybe Big will take some risks, because they know where all the T's are now. With KNG outside, they know there are 3 people downstairs. So we'll see how they react. Anarchy on the outside. Crab walking. KNG misses the shot, and maybe there's a chance for Big.
Yeah, recovering that op is actually huge, and Surson, he will get aggressive here towards ramp. Peeking out towards control window, isn't able to find anything. The bomb is here towards the lower site, as it is on TRK. MIBR, they really want this round. They really want to go into that next half with at least 5 rounds to give themselves something to work with. But the situation has slowed down immensely, and Leo, hoping for some kind of mistake from a Big player, is holding that outside garage. Doesn't look like anybody from Big's going to be giving him it. And at this point, it's really just a guessing game. Who has rotated where? TRK, though, shows his hand. And Surson actually finds the tag. That's Big. Getting a slight HP advantage. And oh, Leo actually sneaks in through Mini, takes down Tizian. That is the lone A site player now. So this will be an incredibly tough retake in the 2v3 for Big.
No defuse kit for them. They will at least have an AWP on the high ground. Oh, that's kind of painful. There's a player outside as well, flanking that heaven position, so this does not look good. Oh, he's landed on his neck as well. That's not very good at all. But what is good is MIBR make it to 5 rounds in the first half, so maybe there is a chance as they move to the CT side. The pistol will be very crucial indeed, and that comes after the break.
Tabson is I think, the last great hope for German Counter-Strike.
Tabson is a super versatile player, now currently the IGL of Big.
A couple of years ago, you could see from his skill set, he was a very, very good player. And now he's doing like IGL duties, so you know this is a guy, student of got B. He's actually worked to complete his game. He's not just the brainless fragger that you normally get in that kind of position. So I have a lot of respect for Tabson.
He's also someone who stuck with the Germans. He's someone who had offers from other teams, but he knew that this project would make it in the long run, and it's really proving itself now.
It's time for MIBR to defend. They move to the CT side with 5 rounds on the board. If they lose this, they may be starting their first buy round with a 5-13 deficit. It's very important. The Julies are up for VSM. Will they be successful, Maui? Tell me now.
He's going to get one. Just one.
Okay.
One kill.
Kito's got a P250 for some extended range. The rare P2000 on TRK. So Tizian's looking to open a door for a pop flash or something. Here's a very quick burst. Successful on Leo as well, but there are many man on the A bomb site. Xantares out here with the bomb as well, trying to hide, trying to reload. He will fail, however. 4 on 2 now for MIBR, trying to hold on to this bomb site. Tabson alone, 1 versus 3, facing 2 at the same time, and he can't do it. He can't do it, but MIBR can. And they'll take their CT pistol. Very key round for them to win.
Yeah. VSM does find one from heaven. Bring it back to that.
Nice.
Yeah, but really good hold from MIBR. They absolutely needed that round here. 6-10 scoreline now. This should be a freebie, as it doesn't look like Big will be investing here. Just Glocks. Oh, I spoke too soon. Big with the last second buy. Actually looking like they're coming out with a plan here. 4 smokes, as a matter of fact, so they can set up that outside wall. Could perhaps find something towards lower. KNG, he wants to fight. Gets up close and personal here. Does hear a lot of big players moving around. Keto. Oh, Xantares with the opening pick on Lucas, but they may overlook KNG. Set up for a couple. Finds 2, but he is traded out. 3v3 situation now, and Leo, he wants to get a piece of the action here. Pushing through the smoke. Will actually spot out Surson. Can't find the kill, though. Oh, it's so close. Xantares is able to save his teammate.
That's not a good look. Tizian was lurking elsewhere, and he's dead, so MIBR have all the information as to where the last 2 players were. It's a question mark now for Big. They know where VSM is, though, and maybe that's all they need to know. Doors closed, doors open. Opportunity closed for Big. MIBR moved to 7.
Yeah, they got pretty hairy towards outside. I'd love to see how Xantares found that opening pick. Here we got it right there. Lucas taken down. But great recovery from MIBR, all things considered. And actually, they were able to save a couple of rifles there. So those are really the big guns that they needed to keep in order to secure their money.
Well, we just got a real match. You can see MIBR not yet tired of celebrating every single round. You do love to see it. Plenty of energy, limitless it seems. Searson very quickly to Mini. That has been heard, though, by the CTs. The cleanup operation is here. Come to bleach the floor of the blood. There'll be no marks left as we start the next round and move to the buy round territory. And now the game really begins with just a 2-round lead now for Big. Buy versus buy.
Some gun swapping around, actually. And, oh, they ditched the MP9s on MIBR. They want every single round here. And this is a nice little strategy. Might catch Big off guard because they know that there were a couple of MP9s in the previous round, but MIBR will be playing it out like a standard gun round, which may slow Big down in their default, as they should probably expect a push. And Tabson, he already finds Lucas outside. That is a huge opening pick for him.
Made his way up very quickly to get that kill. Ooh, KNG spotted some booty, but he missed the flick. Searson doesn't have a helmet, but 58 HP. Now, it matters less than it would otherwise. It's the worst, though, when you don't have a helmet. You get a bit of, get popped in the head, which just takes a crosshair away from a kill you'd otherwise get. Minute 10 for Big. to try and capitalize on this advantage. Keto keeping the CTs on his outside, but inside, KNG's missed another shot. Leo trying to hold on to the position. Switching for the AWP, we've got kills from TRK as well. Looking for a flick, trying to stay alive. You can see there's some nervousness. Down the T's go as VSM makes his way to heaven. 3v2, there's one kit on these final two players.
Looks like they're already considering the save though, so Big may have achieved their 11th round. It's really just how much damage can Keto inflict here. Oh, he doesn't spot the player, though, exiting. Will he suspect? No. Looks like he's lost the scent. And he's making his way towards ramp. So it looks like Big do accomplish that 11th round. And MIBR will be moving forward with an AWP. But this was a full investment from MIBR. They actually upgraded those 2 MP9s. And at this point, they may be regretting that decision just a little bit here. But can't look back in anger at this point. Just need to keep moving on forward if you are the MIBR side, and they've got some opportunities to do so.
Very rough situation around that hut. Very awkward. Here we are. Big on the board early, 11-8. Re-extending the lead. It's a good buy from MIBR with what they were able to hold on to. KNG's on the AWP once more.
This will really be up to him to see what he's able to find. Don't want the opening pick to go the way of Big once again, so KNG likely to try to take matters into his own hands. Already making his way towards Secret here. He's unaware of the positions of Big, so he's taking his time trying to get up the stairwell, but it doesn't look like Big's going to meet him just yet. Big have such a tempered approach on all of these defaults, really just taking their time, flushing out his positions.
Oh boy.
And as the smoke fades, Tabson will find Lucas once again. Another big pick. KNG will recover it just a bit, making it a 4v4 there.
Reload will give VSM's position away somewhat. Will there be a trade kill from Xantares? Denied. 2 kills for VSM, but Searson is here with the bomb. That'll be seen on the radar. But Tabson is elsewhere at present. Maybe he can play off of this. You can see him lurking outside, looking for a rotation. And now the bomb's been lost. Down goes Searson, down goes the AWP, and of course down goes the bomb. Just under a minute for Tabson. He can't give a sound cue away unless it's the AK. Oh, that's a big spray on TRK. There's one below him now. Leo drunk, he's got the AWP. Oh, he's not even, doesn't even care. Just got to focus on the bomb carrier. Running out of bullets now. Quick reload. Got to try and get a jiggle. Trying to bait the shot there. Leo being very patient indeed. And MIBR are back to winning ways.
And they saved the double op. But that might be a little bit of a blessing in disguise for Big, because they will probably go for a half buy here. And so their added movement speed may make this a little bit tricky. I'm interested to see who's actually going to pick up that double op. We've seen VSM use it a little bit, but this was such a great hold from VSM towards ramp. It feels like both of these ramp players, Xantares on the side of Big and VSM, are both having a great time in those off-angle positions. And it's a do-or-die position. It's really, you've got to spray them down, because if you lose that ramp spot without finding one, hopefully 2 frags, you're giving up a vital spot of the map for free. And so it's really a lot of pressure on those players, and they've both been doing excellent jobs.
Just the one flash here for Big. A lot of smoke grenades, however. And a hero AK-47 in the hands of Xantares. Rarely a bad investment. A lot of junk being thrown outside. Xantares with places to be. Lucas will even be ready for this. I don't think he will be. Down he goes again. Struggling to live in these rounds. That's some good information from Xantares at the very least. He has lost the rifle, however. 2 players spotted in the rafters. Tabson's made his way outside. Opportunity has come and gone. Surely KNG doesn't repeat that one. Awkward situation for him, though. TRK and Leo drunky cleaning up elsewhere. Tabson not quite going to make it. So much potential opportunity for Big, but most of it being missed here, leaving Tizian alone to die last. 4 players alive for MIBR. That's quite important. This is their pick, and they're 1 round from tying the score.
Yeah, so many of those players low for MIBR, but they have brought it back nicely. And this is a round that Big may not even want to invest in. Okay, Well, as soon as I say that, Galil is purchased out from Xantarez. May have expected around a half buy round, but regardless of the situation, Big will go into it with full force. A few AKs here. But the double op is still in play for MIBR, so how will Big handle this despite the lack of utility that they are working with? VSM playing a nice ramp angle here. Tizian would be the man to challenge him, but that smoke is keeping him back.
Yeah, he might do okay avoiding flashbangs from that angle as well, but that remains to be seen. Lucas on the outside, seeing if he can stay alive for 30 seconds. Been difficult recent rounds for him, however, MIBR have prevailed for the most part. VSM now with a change of angle. Will it be a double peek maybe from Keto and his teammate? Or maybe even more than that. Someone's taking a bullet here, surely. There's the flash. Goes beyond. Well, that's one down. Reset. Great flick from VSM. And he falls back towards the B bomb site.
That is exactly what you want from your ramp player. The 2 frags falling off, maintaining that control towards the lower site. And now Big, they're in such a tough situation. Sursen's trying to find something with a lurking op, but he will be met by KNG's own. And now it's a 2v4. And TRK, he's in such a great off angle to stop these players if they do try to make their way through Hut. It needs to be an instant entry from Tizian. Will he find it? He does actually get it, but he's dinked. So this is still so tough for them. Just 19 points of health between these 2 remaining Big players. And Leo, he's here to clean it up, will find 1. And that is a tied scoreline. MIBR have brought it all the way back, 11-11.
Yeah, now the pressure starts to rise for Big. Leo with the swing. He's the king of swing. He just never stops moving. Once he gets a kill, he's all right, let's go. There's more plays on the server. I must kill.
Just some DM instincts, honestly.
Yeah. Wide swingers, Ferrari peaks. Just going for it. Last man on the side. Who cares? Let's go. 11-11. Just 1 round in this half for Big thus far. And they're on pistols. Early utility into 8. Early kill from VSM. He's back again with 2 on the ramp. Stamping authority into this area on the US. Oh my god, he's looking so sharp with this P250. The gator is out.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing but teeth for Tizian. That was glorious.
Oh, they don't recover the second op though. But
that made me feel better about myself.
That's still...
It was that good.
Yeah. How are they going to deal with this guy? VSM is really lighting it up at ramp right now. So Big need to come up with some kind of plan here in order to try to face him effectively or just avoid him altogether. If they think he's still using the op, oh, he's actually ditched the op, given it to KNG now. That's such a crazy adjustment from MIBR, actually. Whether it's intentional or not, it allows him to now rotate towards Heaven and be just so much more versatile in that. Taps in, trying to find something towards outside, but look at this aggressive position from Lucas and TRK. This is such a nice setup between the 2 of them. It's going to allow MIBR so much information, but at the cost of leaving ramp completely open. MIBR are gambling right now completely that this is going to be an A hit, and they have guessed right.
I wonder if Big's heard some of those footsteps outside. Here comes the execute. Leo holds down the hard position, and he keeps going, of course, looking for that 3rd kill. 3 versus 2 now in favor of MIBR, just about. Lucas barely alive with 13 HP. More grenades to stop them making a play downstairs. Searson with the AWP holding the angle, praying for a peek. Oh, completely blind as well. Xantarez stuck in the hut. They know that the sniper is left. They know he's got clutch factor. Don't make it easy for him. Searson without the bomb. That's a meaty grenade as well. Some spray towards T-Red. Did TRK hit a connection? Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, he just has to back off at this point. This was such a great round from MIBR. The aggressive stance towards outside. The fact that MIBR realized at this point that they can't deal with VSM. So VSM just leaves ramp completely to help solidify and fortify that A defense. It's such a good call. When you're ahead on the CT side and you have money to play with like this, it's the perfect kind of call. Just conditioning them with brute force, with VSM just destroying them. And MIBR, they've set Big on the back foot now. this is now MIBR's game. 13-11, and Surson with a saved AWP. And Big, do they want to invest into this? They can get a couple of AKs here. I feel like every time I've asked this question, Big has actually just straight up bought. But we'll see if they change it up.
Big guns coming out for Big once again. Tabson will go for the Galil in order to get utility. Could have had the AK otherwise, but again, Big, one of the best teams at using that util. And maybe they really need it to make a difference here versus an MIBR now. 3 rounds away from taking the first map of this series. KNG aggressive again. Does he swing to the right? I love this aggression from MIBR. Again, still a young team with this roster, but they know what they want to do. They're building day by day, step by step. Tabson now, behind enemy lines. No way KNG does a 180 hit. Who's going to find the information first? KNG going for the flank with the AWP because why not? No one's paying attention to Mini though. Now there will be some issues. Can KNG flank fast enough at this point? Still going. Lucas in a very awkward position. KNG with a deagle now. No one paying attention. Moving through. So many targets. Antares, sure he's got to go for it soon. Oh, he's missed his opportunity completely. A disaster for MIBR.
Oh, wow. That's just so crazy, the timing there. But VSM, oh, he has control of the bomb right now. There's 3 big players to meet him here, and he will only find 1. Very good spacing from Big there. Good entry work from Udoh to make sure that that can't be a multi-frag situation for him. And that's just Tabson passing KNG like ships in the night. Both players completely unaware of each other's position, and KNG just couldn't find anything on that flank. If you're KNG in that situation, you just wish you had a rifle. That's all it is.
That's a tough round well, it's a tough point to have a round that's so expensive for MIBR. Again, looking at the economy, if they were to lose this one, it could be a sudden change of fortune, which could lead to a map loss potentially. Big have a great chance ahead of them in half, which has been dominated by MIBR. Oh my God, Leo's been caught off completely by Tizian. The man knows his angles. Got the protractor out, find himself an entry kill. Now you do start to worry about MIBR, of course, coming into this as a massive underdog. So much potential to close out Nuke from what we've seen so far in the second half, but things can change in the blink of an eye. KNG has to land this shot. He's still going to go for it, Antares. Has he got the second one? No, Tabson is on the way, misses the flick. 2-on-3 in favor of Big now as VSM makes his way to heaven.
He's got the molly out. He can deny the plant or at least do some damage. Oh, Udoh, he's going to eat that, but does not find the kill. All right. Now Lucas is able to take down Udoh. He's unaware that this angle is available to MIBR, so it's a 2v2 situation, and it's Tabson and Surson that remain. Lucas, though, he spots a shoulder of Tabson, and Tabson still recovers in the situation, taking down VSM. Surson with a great angle, but great spam from Lucas.
Oh my God.
Tabson just swings and takes him down. That was so close for Lucas, though.
It really was, but not close enough. And this means disaster for MIBR. It's round 27 and they've been broken. They'll probably have to eco for 1 round, but now things get really nervous. Now the pressure really, really rises. You look back to those ships passing in the night. Developing into this situation, complete dominance in the second half until the clutch rounds.
Yeah, and there's just no 2 players you would rather have in a clutch right now than Tabson and probably Surson for the Big side, so they are able to secure that one there. And KNG, he just wishes he hit 1 more op shot in that hut position. He had such a great advanced position, just couldn't find it as Big overwhelmed him on that position. 27th round, though, and MIBR will be only buying a couple of deagles for themselves here.
Yeah, really need to concentrate all that money for the buy rounds to come. Big firmly in the driving seat now. Well, 4 now, let's say. See what happens if MIBR look to get aggressive again in the next round. Dangerous lineup outside. Meanwhile, VSM on the ramp again. You can see he went deep. Won't try and retrieve the rifle. More important to hold position and stay alive. Reset the situation. Big looking for more plays. MIBR being patient.
Yeah, it's just rough for MIBR that the hottest player they have in the server right now, VSM, is just stuck at that ramp spot. If he were any of the other players, he could have so much more impact, but right now, he'll just shut down his position and hope everybody else does their job. At least he hasn't needed assistance there, but Big are going to try to make this an A hit. And this is where the majority of MIBR players are. They will be met by quite a few pistols, but Tizian with the Galil is able to clean them up nicely. Oh, can't actually ascertain the position of the final member on the site. Leo's making a case for himself here, but just 2 frags. Would have been nice to see 3 to hurt the economy of Big just a little bit more, but MIBR will nonetheless buy into this one.
Double AWPs coming out for the Brazilian squad. VSM is back. Who cares about Udoh when you can get that AWP? We've seen great flicks from him. He's been more consistent than KiNK, I feel like. 24 for 18, VSM. Having a great time of things. MIBR real shy on utility across the board, actually. That is a set of grenades.
Udoh is going to try to make his way outside, but he doesn't have the cross smokes. So he's just going to have to set himself up in a lurk position here until these smokes come down. The wall will come out. And it looks like it will be just the standard one for them there. And it looks like Big are going to just completely commit everybody. And this is a really strong read from them. If they've been doing their homework, MIBR, a lot of the times, won't send anybody down towards lower and just try to secure this kind of first floor of the Nuke bomb site. KiNK does find one, but VSM, the star of the show, is here to meet them. He's got to come up huge. He does take down one. Flash comes out to try to slow them down, but he's instantly traded by Surson, and that was the lone defender for the entire lower position. And MIBR, they might just have to concede this round.
Yeah, I think he went too deep to survive there. Very awkward to get the multi-frags. Oh, down goes KiNK. They're at risk of losing everything now, one by one, throwing good money after bad, and they're not going to have much to fight with. This looks like a disaster. Gambled everything there. Oh, dear.
It's just such a bait. When you have the man advantage and they have that lower position, you think there's some opportunity there. But unless you have some advanced position towards that lower back haul, it's such a rough retake to just come completely out of the ramp. And I mean, MIBR just learned that lesson right here, right now. It's really such a shame, because at one point they did have a 5v3, just briefly. But Big recovered nicely. And just playing with so much intent is the Big clan. They're making these plays as a team. They're ensuring the lack of trade potential in the MIBR players, and it neutralizes players like VSM.
This in Battle Sniper mode is quite enjoyable to watch. What might not be enjoyable, though, for the MIBR fans is the conclusion of this round. Does not look great for them. Not guaranteed, however. Who knows what could happen. Triple MP9 and an M4. We've seen them make aggressive plays, but what can they design around this kind of buy? I do wonder. Xantares very quickly into Mini. They've got no idea. There's a big focus on Hut. Playing close as the weapons will demand. Xantares is in A, clearing the bomb site out bit by bit. How bizarre. Will the footsteps be heard? Leo and TRK are in so much trouble now. They've got to push the lobby. There we go. Easy for Tizian the first one. Lucas is gone as well. Oh, maybe there is a chance after all. 3-on-3. Bomb not planted just yet. There we go. That choke point is very much choked off. Smoked out, maybe scoped out if they walk into Searson.
Oh, this is just an angle they won't expect. Searson here. Oh, but he's smoked off. It's actually a 2v3 now on the bomb site. Udoh has to come up big. They've mollied out the secondary vent, so they know he can't be there, but he's playing the off angle beautifully. Excellent shot there from Udoh to take down Leo, and Big will secure the map 16-13.
Well, that's got to be broken hearts for MIBR. Again, a great run, but one crucial round gave Big an opportunity to break them, and break them they did. Second last round, throwing all their rifles away. Not much to fight with for the last one. And I don't know, I hesitate to say that, like, the way the second half was going was kind of an upset.
Yeah, it was looking really good for MIBR, and really, that one taps and lurk round towards outside, the fact that he was able to infiltrate that A bomb site is just something that MIBR are going to have to look back at and say, okay, we just didn't cross our T's, dot our I's on this round.
It is what it is. It's break time! More Counter-Strike to come. We'll see you on the other side.
Almost as close as it could be on an explosive map of Nuke, but it came down to the wire as MIBR are the ones to be blown out of the server. They'll be taking a step closer to the crown of the Demo-lition men group as Dust 2 awaits the Germans as the potential closing map. But you were saying in the green room, Potter, it's kind of crazy to look at these T sides from both of these teams and how long it took for them to be getting comfortable on them.
Yeah, exactly. It took about 10 rounds for both squads to figure out a comfortable game plan, and it's all due to that ramp hold, right? Whether it was Xantares defending for Big or VSM busting out that AWP defending for the MIBR side. That just, it felt like it constricted the B's, the Big's attacking side as well as the MIBR side. Slowly but surely though, they started poking and prodding towards that outside yard, and man, Big, they do such a fantastic job at applying the pressure and making sure no matter what, they get the trades done. So even in those instances where you think KNG is going to have a heroic multi-kill where he's pushing through that hut with that AWP, Big, they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's, and they're making the trades happen. So towards the end, I'm glad to see that Big, they found that winning strategy.
Yeah, and you were saying it before we were coming into this matchup, as we could see with the score, but you were saying Xantares is due a game to be popping off. He was looking so dominant in that first half. Of course, everybody on the Big side almost, was having those moments where they were popping up. So where was the turning point for you, Thorin? Because we were kind of looking at this and going, MIBR could be running away with this one.
Well, I mean, it's just that round where they were going out through the door, basically. That's one where if they get it, it looked like if they didn't hit exactly that timing, they were sort of in trouble because, again, they'd slowed the game down. They couldn't go through the ramp area. They hadn't actually found that sort of approach where they were taken out. So at that point in time, that basically destroyed the MIBR money. Then they were really in precarious situations beyond that. Then there was the VSM part where he was all the way pushed up under. And if that's 1 or 2 people, he could maybe do a kill there, pull back. 4 people have to be pushing his position, of course. I actually think basically what failed the game for MIBR, because they were in a winning position, was on CT's side, it looked like some of the comms fell apart towards the end. They weren't always coordinated. Like, I even think on that last one, when they were 5 or 4v3, I think some of them wanted to save, but then someone was going in still, and then they all get fragged down to 1 person left. So they did a really good game for sort of, let's say, half of the map. But then once it got to the very end there, I feel like they kind of gave up, they yielded a little bit, and Big was just, they knew with the pressure point to hit.
Yeah, and I know I want to talk about that particular ramp area that you were kind of touching upon there, Potter. What did we kind of see from VSM coming out with that? Because it seemed like he had a really, really solid hold. How did Big kind of adapt around that area?
I think, once again, it just comes down to the trading. Towards the end, they stopped testing VSM, right, firstly, and then they started applying that pressure towards that ramp. I really liked VSM's style. I don't think it bodes well, though, for MIBR that their strongest-looking setup happens to be a double op on Nuke. It's not
pretty hard to get it.
It is, and it's such a tough win condition to have yourselves as a squad that be your most confident go-to strategy. It's usually not going to end well, especially when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, what we just saw, 16-13 scoreline, the money starts getting tight, you start maybe turtling up. What was working for you in the first 10 rounds, generally, it just doesn't work towards the end. So I like Xanteras's approach, though, you know, that slick aim that he has, and just his angles that he holds. I call them LAN angles, but Xanteras is able to produce them online as well. So it's so deadly to have a ramp player like that who's willing and eager to just shut it down completely by himself.
Yeah, it's got to be a bit heartbreaking for the side of MIBR, getting so close. And I know there was a point that you were speaking about, Duncan, when we were watching this matchup, how slow they were initially starting on that T side. A little bit of a surprise.
This will be a game that they'll look back on. And unfortunately, especially because they ended the game in a winning position, you look back and you're like, I wish I could have those first 8 rounds back. I wouldn't have done any of those things. Like, one of the things I liked, in fact, they got it together at the end of the half was, how about some fast attacks? Let's just do some like double peeks out the door. Let's just rush and do a pincer movement. When they were going 1 by 1 slowly, like Saracen was just eating that up outside. That was easy for this guy. He was never really pressured unless he actually pushed forward into the yard area. So I think MIBR, I think both teams did this. They tried to feel out the game initially, and unfortunately, it just took them way too long to adapt. They would have been better off sort of brute forcing it a little bit and then seeing if that doesn't work after the fact, I think.
Well, potentially, we're going to have to see a lot of adaptations coming out of the side of MIBR as we are going to be moving on to Dust 2, of course, a map that we saw these 2 teams competing on way earlier in the tournament. It wasn't pretty for the side of MIBR in this one. 16-2, that is such a brutal scoreline.
It is. But, you know, it's, again, one of those things where a team like MIBR, so fresh, so new, that experience, that butt wrecking that they just got on that Dust 2 the first time around, that experience, it's gonna bode well for them coming into this series, because when we remember and think back just a couple weeks behind that at
so
Blast on Dust 2, it was close. It went to OT versus G2, and that was actually on Dust 2. We saw KNG popping off, we saw VSM popping off, and TRK as well. So if they can have that sort of confidence and not back down from Big's aggression on Dust 2, they're going to have a good chance here.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point. And I believe that you've got a particular round that you want to be pointing out coming into the second match.
Yeah, and this is going to be on KNG's point of view, and particularly the last 3 kills. And I love the reaction coming out of KNG. I always talk about on the desk, capitalizing on a moment and knowing exactly when you can take these high-risk, high-reward plays. KNG in this moment, nobody in their right mind would have actually pushed through this smoke, but he knows he just got 2 kills early on the round. He's feeling hot stuff. That smoke is coming towards him. He knows the attackers are going to respect him, and they're going to wait for that smoke to bloom. So he takes that chance, those couple of minute seconds that he has to push forward, advance, re-aggress, and he's rewarded heavily for it. So this sort of killer instinct that you see coming out of KNG here, we didn't see it the last time around on Dust 2, specifically versus Big. This time, he's going to have no filter. He's going to have to get out there and get involved.
I also feel like that's one of the problems I've seen in this series when you specifically put MIBR against Big, is that type of aggression. Big likes to go slow and grind it out. Like, they sort of have the counter for that, I feel like. If you're playing against the Forza or something like that, they'll play into you. You can get these kills. So I think he has to be the best player, in my opinion, for them, KNG. Like, he's actually one of the better players in this entire tournament. But Didn't really have the opportunity on Nuke to really get going. I think it wasn't the best map and the best position for him. So this is certainly a map where his open, his aggressive open, could be very effective.
Yeah, and it's definitely a tricky one, isn't it, coming into it? I'm wondering from your perspective, because we have actually seen this map being played out beforehand, obviously, as we were saying, with that absolutely brutal scoreline. Is there anything
we can stop seeing this clip now. I've just seen it 5 times in a row, and I don't want to see it 7th.
I mean, we've got to be showing KNG's beautiful stuff, because I want to focus on him as a player coming into this one. Considering, you know, as I was saying, we have seen these two teams play out beforehand. So where are you looking at for him to be making those key adaptations? Is there any sort of particular player we should be looking from the big side for him to be taken advantage of?
It's got to be Searson, right? I mean, Searson, he's so cool, calm, collected, even on Nuke towards that outside yard, as Dundgren pointed out. At any point, even with all the pressure that MIBR were throwing his way, he didn't look phased at all. There was no moment where he was flustered, no moment where you thought, oh, he's going to miss a shot, he's going to get timing, he's going to get flanked. So for Searson, Dust2, this is his playground. This is his comfort zone, his home map. He knows exactly what kind of help he's receiving from every single point on the map, whether he's towards long A, whether he's towards middle, and whether he's towards B. And that's the great thing about Searson, is he's so damn mobile. He's everywhere on this map.
Well, of course, we have a small tech issue going on at the moment, but we will be jumping into this next map very, very shortly. It will be Dust2, and it will be, hopefully, Big taking it 2-0, but we'll be finding out after a short break.